¡Viva la raza! I lie, I cheat, I steal. I lie, I cheat, I steal. Yo, mamacita, I got that passion that's lasting long. Los mujeres fall in love with that Latin charm. One woman isn't enough, amigo. Siempre cogiendo más mujeres porque soy Latino. And I'm tougher than tough, calling your bluff, cuz I lie, I cheat, I steal. I lie, I cheat, I steal. I don't care if you don't like me.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah, Phillip Antoine, joined by the Canadian destroyer, BT Brandon Tanguma. Special bonus podcast, man. We are here to discuss the career of the late, great Eddie Guerrero. It has been 20 years, crazy, since his unfortunate passing. Yeah, man, I mean, when you talk about the greats, you know, you'll mention your Flairs, your Savages, your Shawns, your Bretts, Cena's. Eddie Guerrero, man, he's up there. He made it look so easy. He made it look so effortless with everything he did, from the early days, from when he was teaming with Art Barr to going into WCW, the classics with Ray over there, and then coming to the classics he had there. Hell, even the indie run when he left the E for a little bit, man. Brandon, Eddie Guerrero, one of the best ever. Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. He got brought up last week on Raw between that Ray and Dominic segment. You know, Ray name dropped probably the top two greatest luchadors of all time in El Santo and Blue Demon. Pretty much no pop from the WWE crowd. But Eddie Guerrero gets mentioned. They go crazy. I mean, he passed away 20 years ago, and yet he still gets a massive reaction, ovation from any wrestling crowds, not just WWE crowds.
Absolutely, man. I mean, let's talk about that, man. I mean, 2005, 20 years ago. I mean, you remember? I think we all remember the Raw. But this was probably like the first celebrity death that like hit you, right? Like, damn, like you never realize how much these people have an impact on you until they're gone, which is that's sad to say, you know. I mean, obviously he was appreciated in life, but you know how it is, guys. People who pass away who have that much impact are obviously they become larger than life in death. Let's talk about the Monday Night Raw, the tribute show. It opens up, everybody's on the stage. Vince McMahon lets us know that Eddie Guerrero had passed away at 38 years old in the prime of his life and career. Take us back to that day, Brandon. What do you remember? What do you remember from that episode of Monday Night Raw?
I mean, I was 11. Because that was 20 years ago, because I'm old. You know, I was a wrestling fan, but, you know, I wasn't like on the internet and not really knowing too much stuff. So I would assume that I didn't know what was happening until I turned Raw on, thinking it was some just random, any regular episode of Raw in November. And then they announced that Eddie Guerrero had passed away, and I believe it was in Minneapolis. When that show happened. So you know, obviously Eddie and the Chris Benoit shows were always going to be kind of like linked because of WrestleMania 20, and they happened relatively close together. But you know, it was kind of I believe like the first kind of full blown tribute show since Owen. I mean, obviously like the first kind of on roster death, I believe, since Owen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was as a young fan who didn't really know too much about, you know, the history and Owen and all the stuff that happened before then. This was kind of the first type of show in my fandom, obviously.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was 2005. I was 8. Yeah, but it just kind of didn't really under like, what do you mean? Like he died, like, you know, just and you know, social media wasn't really popping like that back then. And you know, kid, you're not on the internet like that at that point in time. You're still outside playing and whatnot with your friends, but just confusion, obviously sadness, and just what do you mean? And then just I mean, it's one of the best tribute shows of all time, man. all the people talking about Eddie, and then just Cena leaving the championship in the ring with the EG armband. Uh, yeah, man. It was a really heartfelt, heartwarming thing, and they always did Eddie's legacy right. I mean, the next year he goes into the Hall of Fame. They always protected and treated his legacy with the utmost respect. Let's talk about the career, man. I mean, Eddie Guerrero, like I said, really the indie run is. I mean, it's talked about, like it's not really talked about like that. I mean, the Triple Threat he had, what was it, like Ring of Honor or IWA Mid South with was him, Rey Mysterio, and CM Punk. Like that's an underrated. I know you don't like the word banger, but man, like that's a really underrated one. Like it's fire, and obviously like the Halloween Havoc '97 with Ray, which is regarded as just one of the best matches of all time. It might be that probably is the best match in WCW history.
Yeah, I mean, and it was just in ring wise, what it was doing at the time was very, very innovative. And probably my favorite Eddie Guerrero match of all time, even though I didn't watch it live. I just think the Christmas, the snap, the pop, and for those kids out there who don't, they only see old man Rey Mysterio, and even 2002 Rey Mysterio was still very different than 1996, 7. I did the thing on accident because, sorry. Uh, but yeah, I mean, Rey Mysterio and Eddie were just both just in their absolute primes and in their bag in that match.
Yeah, it just clicked, and it all marinated so well with each other.
And
Yeah,
that was the hair versus there was the mask match, and Eddie basically told Eric Bischoff, "Yeah, Rey Mysterio's not losing this match."
yeah. Oh man, oh man. I'm looking at it. He had a 19-year career from 1986 up until his unfortunate passing in 2005. I mean, coming in with the Rascals, with Saturn and Benoit and Malenko, they did that. I mean, the European Championship run, the IC title run. I mean, hell, man, Mamacita with China. I mean, that was so much entertaining content that they put out there. Obviously the stuff he did in Japan is Black Tiger, like that's a lot of really just good just fun wrestling. It's at a different speed, it's intense. Uh like I said, the tag team with Art Barr early on in his career. But then obviously, I mean, the Cow Palace, it happened out here in the Bay Area, man. February of 2004, No Way Out, he defeats Brock Lesnar to become the WWE champion, his only world championship win. And then you hear the stories about how, the weight of the title, he felt that pressure and everything. And, like if the house wasn't, at its regular capacity, he would take that personally. Just all these things that how much he really cared and loved this business so much. Yeah, there's we've all seen the video of him walking backstage after he wins the title, being congratulated by everybody, and then he's calling Vicky and his daughters post match after the big title win. Just really good, wholesome stuff. I mean, his legacy is carried on, throughout multiple people. I mean, it led Ray to go on to win the Rumble and win the world title at Mania. Chavo, I feel like he he had a decent career in WWE. I mean, his daughter Shaw was in WWE for a second. She had a little indie run too, and then his other daughter Cheryl Lynn, she started training at Reality of Wrestling with Booker. So his legacy will, and the stuff Dom is doing. I mean, how can we not mention Dominic Mysterio? I mean, spitting image of bro, like the stuff he's doing is massive. And yeah, man, I mean, Eddie Guerrero was so good at this to where he obviously a beloved babyface, but when that '05 heel run, when he said, Dom, I'm your poppy, I'm like, okay, yeah, like that was such good stuff, man. I mean, he had a ladder match for the custody of a child. It was just awesome stuff. That everything he did was so much fun. It was hilarious, and of course, I lie, I cheat, I steal. Those aren't principles you want your children to have, but hey, Eddie Guerrero made it fun, man. What else you got about the late great Latino Heat?
I mean, he is probably personally one of my favorite wrestlers, just kind of like of all time. And I mean, I think I talked a little about a couple weeks ago, just like, as a kid, I very much enjoyed Eddie because, he was the fun-loving baby face and he was just a good time. and then getting older and kind of learning the history of Eddie and kind of what he did before WWE and the lineage and everything like that, it made me appreciate him way more now than I did all those years ago. Kind of him and I think William Regal are kind of like the two guys that stand out to me of as a dumb wrestling kid. I didn't really understand how great they were when I was watching them in the moment, but I mean, you said the whole light sheet and steel thing. He was an enigma in that sense because it should work as a babyface, and some baby faces have tried to do stuff like that. The Eddie Guerrero spot is kind of overdone, I think, at times because of how loved and influential Eddie has been since then. But it was innovative at the time, and maybe it's been overused since then. But there's only been one Eddie Guerrero that's been able to do it. Dom has. Um, Clearly there's a lot of influence from Dom, but if you go back and look at the Eddie Guerrero Art Bar, Gringos Locos tag team, I mean, Dom looks like Art Bar. Like people will say like he looks like Eddie Guerrero, but Art Bar is definitely like the guy that Dom is kind of like modeled after, I feel like, in terms of like his look and kind of like the smarmy lover boy aspect that he does. And yeah, I mean, overall just a fantastic career. Unfortunately, gone too soon. And you know, the way he died, he was clean, but just his hard living kind of caught up to him, and kind of like some of those uh you know musicians that die way too young. I think it just kind of unfortunately adds to the legacy and the aura of Eddie Guerrero, because if like let's be honest, like if Eddie like lived for if he's still living to this day and he just kind of continued to wrestle, I don't know if he'd be as loved as he is. Like people would definitely appreciate him, but he is like on another level, I think, in terms of like the love that people have for him.
Absolutely, man. They're they have that I've seen that meme going around. They're like certain Latinos you don't talk bad about: Selena, Eddie Guerrero. Yeah, man. I'm looking at this. So obviously Raw and SmackDown did the tributes, but then TNA, they dedicated their Genesis pay-per-view to Eddie, and then Ring of Honor renamed their next show Night of Tribute for Eddie, and then OVW's Developmental Territory also paid tribute to Guerrero during their television taping. CZW also paid tribute to Guerrero with the 10 bell salute. And then obviously there's the it's iconic at this point, the Here Without You, Three Doors Down video package for Eddie Guerrero. Um, the Nine Inch Nails Hurt song, that's also another iconic one. But yeah, man, he was one of the greatest to ever do this. I mean, the career speaks for itself, man. AAA tag team champion, ECW TV champion twice, which the ECW run in the 90s was good. And then the one night stand match with Benoit in '05, that's one of my favorites. Hardcore Hall of Fame 2015, IWA Mid South champ one time. Um, he won Best of Super Juniors 3 in '96, the junior heavyweight super grande tag champion with the great Sasuke. Just a lot of great stuff, man. Comeback of the year, cruiserweight champ, US champ, as we've mentioned, IC champ, European champ, heavyweight champ, Hall of Fame. The list goes on, man. Just one of the best to ever do this, man. Eddie Guerrero was truly one of the most influential wrestlers of all time. It brings me joy every time like we talk about him, and I watch his work. And I was a kid, man. You're watching, you have your friends over, like you have wrestling on, but you're kind of like BS wrestling each other. Whenever Eddie Guerrero came on, we stopped and we paid attention and watched, say, the master at work and him do his thing. Just the low rider, this the vibe, the aura. Um, is just he was really aura forming before that was even a term or a word. So thank you to Eddie Guerrero, man. So much fun watching his stuff then, and then of course watching it as the years have gone on. Anything else you want to say to Latino Heat?
I mean, I think he's one of those wrestlers that you would love to like put him in a hot tub time machine and put him like in this era, because like you look at him, Chris Jericho, some of those late stage cruiserweights of undersized guys who had great wrestling ability but also could talk, and I think him and Jericho are kind of those two guys. They would be just absolute superstars in today's wrestling, because back then, unfortunately, size still meant stuff, and like both those guys were able to break through because they were so talented, but unfortunately they were held down for a majority of their early career. And if they were able to kind of be in this generation of wrestling where, size isn't that big of a deal, but there's a heavy emphasis on the wrestling and you have the character work on top of it, I mean, they could have been just absolute megastars in this era.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I guess the one dream match. Let's go. Let's go there. Let's go there. The one dream match you could have wanted to see Eddie Guerrero have, man. Like who would it have been?
I mean, if we're just like full blown, I would like full blown fantasy booking, like just taking Eddie and just putting him against somebody else.
We're talking like the height of it all. Super babyface WWE champion era Eddie Guerrero against the tribal chief. The dastard when Roman was at his dastardliest, I think that would be good. Hell, the Vision version of Seth Rollins, I think that would have been something. How about Super Babyface Cody versus Super Babyface Eddie? Like there's so many possibilities. Hell, a Kenny Omega Eddie Guerrero match would have been something. Okada versus Guerrero in Japan. I feel like that would have been popping off.
I think a super mega babyface Eddie Guerrero against the super heel MJF could like definitely be something. Like I'd be a little scared of the things MJF would say against Eddie because we've seen him against like Mark Briscoe and stuff like that, but it's very similar. And Eddie Kingston I think are similar characters to Eddie Guerrero, and we've seen what MJF has been able to do. But I think in ring wise and promo wise, that could have been just like the perfect matchup of just that type of arrogant, rich kid heel against the underdog, battle tested babyface like Eddie.
Who else, man? Bullet Club AJ versus Eddie in Japan for the IWGP. I think that would have been something.
Yeah, I mean,
there's so many. There's so many.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Danielson, any era of Brian Danielson, I think it's Eddie Guerrero could have been.
Did they wrestle each other?
I mean,
maybe, right? I feel like maybe that happened. Let's see. Guerrero versus Brian Danielson. Did that happen?
They've never wrestled each other, according to Google AI. But it doesn't seem like there's anything there. But yeah, Brian Danielson, whether it is, his late stage now or kind of his peak in ROH, late 2000s, early 2010s, I think that could have been something in ring wise, just really good.
I mean, obviously the one that was supposed to happen. How could I? It was supposed to be at WrestleMania. Was it 22? Him and Shawn. God, that would have been the match stealer, the show stealer. Yeah, I'm just looking at like kind of like a top 10 list. They have Styles on there. They have Edge. Didn't they wrestle each other? Eddie and Ed? Yeah.
I mean, I know they definitely had tag matches, which probably spawned singles matches.
The Sting's on here. Sabu. They Eddie and Sabu. Yeah, they wrestled each other, right? Carlito's on here. Taker.
Black Tiger and Sabu have wrestled each other
In
1995.
Boom, there you go. But yeah, just awesome work. Thank you, Eddie, man. Seriously. A body of work that will forever stand the test of time. Viva la raza.
Yeah, R.I.P. Eddie, one of the most cherished, one of the most loved wrestlers of all time. And also, he was pretty good as well.
Yes, absolutely. He lied, cheated, and stole his way into all of our hearts. Thank you, Eddie. Continue to rest in peace, man.
Streets of the ghetto at the end of the week. I get to keep your dinero. You're fast asleep when I sneak in your casa. Your life sucks cause you're bankrupt and I'm laughing. You can't trust me, answer, cause I'm Latin.